This is good. Take two, Sebastian. Take two. Uh, um, so again, thank you very much for your time. My evening, your morning.
Correct. Yes. I mean, Los Angeles. You are in England.
Yes, that's right.
Somewhere.
Yes, in sort of Bristol, and you're also on the west coast of the state somewhere.
Oh, you're in Bristol.
Yes.
Oh my, you're down south. We share a common, not ocean, but proximity to water. I'm right next to the Pacific, and you're right next to the English Channel.
Yes, yes, yes.
Water connects us, and so much more.
We could swim and meet each other in the Atlantic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could. But why do you want to journey west? Why not journey east? It'd be more entertaining.
Oh, I know. Well,
and then we meet in the Pacific.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yes. Okay. That's good. I'm happy. So,
but either way is fine. Yes.
Creator of the Laughter Wellness Method and founder of the Laughter Online University.
Yes.
Yes. And as you know, there are just these two basic questions that I'd love to hear your views on, your take on. And the first is, what is joy to you? What does joy mean to you?
You know, actually, I've been thinking about this one since you asked me to do this short interview. It's a concept that's extremely valuable and that I've been struggling with, that I struggled with for many, many years, and I still to some extent struggle with. So we'd have to explain, I mean, we don't have time to go through the full explanation, but at the beginning, for me, joy was very much akin to pleasure. I'd have a cake, I'd feel good. Oh, I'm joyful. Very short-lived. Then as I grew up, joy became more of a happiness concept. Same as the flip side of pleasure, just more refined, more culture, but really it's the same thing. Still an external concept, something that I would, that my brain would interpret as joy, but it wasn't joy. Then joy became a commitment to being in present moment awareness. And at the beginning, for many years, it was I understood the concept, but living it was very difficult. So today, joy to me is the complete, total commitment to the experience of gratitude in present moment awareness without, or irrespective of what's happening around you. Extremely difficult, something that is the hardest thing I've ever had to work on, because to me, it implies that there is nowhere to hide. Meaning yes. Some morning, if I don't feel good for whatever reason, then I have to take ownership. So I associate joy, I connect joy very closely with the concept of, with the locus of control, with an internal as opposed to external locus of control.
Yes.
I'm in charge. If I want to feel angry, then I have to take ownership. Why? It's not because of it, him, or something. It's not because of something external, angry or afraid or sad or whatever. I'm choosing to, then I have to go into the feeling. Why am I choosing that experience? Why am I choosing to go on the dark side as opposed to the light side? Why can't I just say, not why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me, and rejoice about that? Challenging, beautiful, very much of a spiritual nature, highly valuable path.
I love the way you said, it's sort of commitment to gratitude in the present moment,
irrespective of what's around you. Now it's easy to say, this is I've had this conversation. I mean, I've taught for years the value of joy and how you achieve joy. Living it, there's always a gap, or at least in my life, between the living and the believing.
Yes.
And so life is by nature dynamic. And so whenever you face challenges, which will come sooner or later, then it becomes a bit of a different topic to maintain that centeredness. So joy is about peace. I mean, I associate joy very much more to peace than joy. Peace, not pieces.
Yes. Yeah.
So happiness is pieces. Joy is more on the peace side of life.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, they're very nice. Very nice. I also love the way you described your own experience of joy as a journey, in your own life.
Man, it was so painful. I mean, for years I was so. I'm going to forget a few years, but when I came into the world of laughter, stress and personal severe challenges brought me to the world of laughter.
Yeah.
And so I spent years on top of the world. I was good at what I was doing. I was offering workshops pretty much somewhere I was training others and offering a variety of laughter workshops somewhere in the world every other weekend.
Yeah.
I've flown over 1 million kilometers offering those workshops.
Wow.
And life was good. Every other weekend, I'd have those high experiences. I was on top of the world. I was so centered and joyful. I was changing lives. And then I would come back to my four walls and to a very unhappy family situation.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, it just messed me up greatly. How could I, on one hand, I would go from extremes. I mean, I would from week to week, from extremes of being on top, completely zen, to completely distraught because of, again, I mean, this ended up in a divorce. That's another story. And that's how slowly now I have a much more respect now for that path to joy than I had before, because this is not an easy journey. Again, that commitment to being here now, at peace, centered, anchored inside. I believe this is Saint John's saying, in the world, not of the world.
Yes. Yeah.
Very distinct. This is an everyday, I don't want to say challenge, it's more of it's an everyday opportunity. Because some days I want to be pissed off. Some days I want to be afraid. Except now I have to take ownership that it's got nothing to do with what's outside. For whatever reason, I'm given an opportunity to heal something that needs to be healed.
Yes. Yeah. Therefore, again, you're kind of touched on this. You answered the question sort of implicitly, but just addressing it sort of full on. So, how important is joy to you?
Well, again, the world, so our language is very limited. So my answer is upfront, profoundly life-defining important. And at the same time, I am not into extreme. So I am not on a path to feel on top of the world every day. This is not what joy means to me. Joy is more on the peace side, more of a centeredness. Any extreme is unhealthy. And I mean, overall, I am conscious, again, that's my perspective, and let's be clear, since what I'm going to share is my perspective and my opinion, I'm right.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm very aware of the fact that language is a trap.
Yeah.
Because when we use word, we imply the opposite. So to be on a path to joy implies very often be on a path away from what joy is not, which we can't avoid. Right. So I'm not so much on a path towards something, but more on a path towards the inside, being present, not going out, but going in, not to avoid moving away from something I don't want, but coming closer to something I do want, which is inside of me. And it's just, again, that's full compromise to accept and feel gratitude for what is here now.
Yes.
I'm avoiding extremes. I'm not keen on extremes.
Yeah. So it sounds, therefore, as if this practice is right at the center of your life. Oh, we've done this. Ha ha ha.
I'll reframe. I think so to go further. I think it's really hard to live a life seeking for balance, because balance is by nature fleeting. It keeps moving. The only way to experience balance is to live your life fully, because then it becomes a natural experience. You naturally know where it is. So I mean, it kind of, without wanting to sound confusing, my path to joy is more a path to peace, equilibrium, here and now. So if something profoundly pleasurable or enjoyable comes in, trying to be zen, that's really nice. And if something profoundly painful, if I break a toe or whatever, then it's the same thing. It's where is that? It's the anchor is inside, not outside.
Yes, fantastic.
That makes sense.
Well,
But I get.
yes, yes, so it's lovely, and I think what you're saying is a kind of state that it's a kind of vision that a lot of people will resonate with, and there's a practice of being of living now, really embracing the now, uh, uh, um, whatever is happening in the now, and embracing it sort of with gratitude. I think that is that will be a very sort of lovely thing and an encouraging thing for people to hear, and also the fact that it's a, it takes real, it takes doing. It's not, you can't be sort of dilettante about it. It's something you really need to do.
I'm extremely grateful to that concept of joy because it taught me two key things that have had a major impact in my life. But time is up, so maybe we'll talk about them next time. Unless you have time for that.
Yes, yes. I think it'll be really interesting. Yes, yes, Sebastian. Yes, please.
Okay, the very first thing the concept of joy taught me was the concept of the inner locus of control. I am in charge of my experience. I spent the first half of my life in a victim seat. It wasn't me. Whenever I was off joy, it was because of it, him, her, they, something outside. And then I discovered that I could flip my emotions, and I could actually, by engaging consciously through things I like doing, step outside of time and step in that state of expansion and fulfillment. That was the first thing. Then the second thing that concept taught me was that I spent the first half of my life moving away from what I didn't want. So I wasn't moving away. In my first years in the world of laughter, I was not moving towards joy. I was really moving away from stress, from anger, from stuff I didn't want, which was a very not healthy path.
Yes.
Because it didn't really achieve much. It was very short-lived. And so now I'm I'm still learning those lessons. Whatever daily practice I follow, it is because I want to come closer to what I want. So I'm not trying to change or push away pain, discomfort, fear, whatever. It's the opposite. It's an embracing. Thank you for being in my life, and I now know better.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Go back to your room.
Fantastic. There's the Rumi poem. I think it's Rumi, isn't it? The guest house, where every day you stand at the door and you say, and whatever comes along, you say thank you, and you let it pass through. And it might be wonderful, it might be painful, it might be upsetting, it might be this, that, or the other. You just say sort of thank you, and you do your best to kind of stay centered. And
oh man, I have daily conversations with my inner child. I'm Sebastian, and I don't want to say I'm the best, I'm ideal, but I'm really cool. Steve, my inner child, is a bit more, well, not so. Steve has challenges. Steve is, needs a bit of education. Hey, I'm grateful for Steve, but Steve needs to learn to behave sometimes.
I think we all have a bit of an inner Steve,
Yeah. I don't know, but I would guess yes.
Keeps us on our toes, just reminds us, oh yes, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sebastian, thank you very, very much. It's been, I kind of knew this would be a fascinating conversation, and it has been absolutely lovely. And thank you particularly for sharing those last 2 points. One about the locus of control inside, the place of choice, and the other is how much better it is when we reach this stage in life where instead of sort of focusing on moving away from things, the things we don't want, we sort of embrace the totality as the most wholesome way of sort of connecting with the things we do want.
I can give you one technique that's been extremely helpful to me was the art of questioning, the art of asking questions. Specifically, so from an inner locus of control, not why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me? That was the first aspect of
Yes.
that asking question. And the second one was the understanding to stay with the questions. So whenever you want something different in your life, so I think it's Einstein who was saying that, if not him, someone else, but it's equally ancient wisdom. You cannot change an environment from the energy level from which it was created.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you have the consciousness, the awareness that something is off in your life and you want to change that, stay with the question. Don't look for
Yes.
the answers. They'll come on their own.
Yes. Yes.
Learn to ask the right questions. It is said that the answers to all of your questions are always in your immediate environment.
That's
Always.
nice.
If,
Yes.
and you'll find them if you know how to ask the right question.
Yes.
Stay
yes.
with the question. Write them down day after day, week after week. They will come. The answers will come.
Yes.
I mean, they did for me. So, and they do for me. So maybe, hopefully, they'll do for you.
Yes.
That's what.
Fantastic. Sebastian, thank you. It's absolutely
Thank you.
lovely conversation.
Thank you, sir.
And I look forward to the time when we actually can meet in person rather than just. But meeting on Zoom is a start, Sebastian. Meeting
everything in due time.
Yes. Thank you very much, Sebastian. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.